Now that we've given you some basic design principles, we're going to show you step by step how to change this slide into a more effective slide like this. Our first step is to get rid of the theme that already exists on the slide. We want to get rid of the text shadowing in the background image, so we're going to go to Slide Themes and apply Office Theme. Our next step will be to remove the clip art of the girl raising her hand because it doesn't convey any important information. Now our task is to make this text shorter and more concise. That will be a lot easier for our audience to read and understand. Additionally, we don't want our audience to read while we're trying to speak, so we're going to see if there's anything on the slide that we can give to our audience verbally. This We Can Help With list is a good example of that, so we're going to cut it and paste it into our notes. It gives too many details when we have that on the slide for our audience to be able to absorb. They're going to be busy reading while we're speaking, and we don't want that. Our next step is to change our title text to what do we do, since we ask a question rather than make a statement. And we're also going to format the heading and body text so it matches the rest of the slides in our series. Our next step is to group like information. Basically, we want our viewers' eyes to be able to discern a relationship between these two things, so we're going to place them closer together. We also have both aligned to the right on an imaginary line. This makes our slide seem cleaner and more professional, and it's easier on the eye. You'll also notice that we've used blank space more effectively in this slide rather than the really spread out nature of the other slide. It's calmer, it's easier on the eye, and we can discern the important information immediately. Now our task is to add the question mark. If you'll notice on our other slides, we use background images to create both visual appeal and to convey important information. On our hours and locations slide, we have the @ symbol because we're giving places and times of when to visit the peer tutoring center. So we've used a giant @ sign. Not only is it visually appealing, it is conveying information. So we're going to use a giant question mark in this slide to kind of serve the same purpose. It will give interest to our background, and it also will indicate that what do we do is a question. So to do that, we're going to open up a text box, type our question mark, and format it accordingly. Our next step is to remove Snap to Shape. If you go to View, Guides, and deselect Snap to Shape, this will help us move the question mark around a little bit easier because it won't snap to an imaginary grid. We have our question mark placed correctly, but it's covering up our text. So we're going to change its transparency by going to Colors, Weights, and Fills and setting its transparency to 60. And if we look at that, it looks better, but it's still covering up our text. So we're going to also go down here to Size, Rotation, and Ordering and go to Arrange and send our question mark all the way to the back. So that's looking a lot better. We only have one thing left to do. We're going to create a 3x3 table to test the rule of thirds. Alright, now that we have a clear 3x3 table, we're going to format it to the size of our slide. Because our eye does not naturally gravitate to dead center first, the rule of thirds tells us that in a 3x3 table, our information should be centered around the crosshairs to create visual interest and appeal. And as you can see, our entire slide centers around these 2 points, so we're looking pretty good. As you can see, we've taken a slide that was not visually appealing and was cluttered with information and created a cleaner, more concise, and more visually appealing slide. So we hope that helps.